All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another Engineering the Markets. My name is Jared. It is July 21st, 2022. Happy Thursday to everyone. This will be our last Engineering the Market session for the week, and we're ending it with a little bit of discussion with regards to Tesla's earnings. We're going to talk about the fact that the overall market is hitting the upper edge of its expected move this week. So we're seeing the overall pricing volatility start to take effect in regards to the size of our upswing that we've gotten this week. And we're going to look at some possible technical levels to keep in mind. We'll also talk a little bit of crypto today. It's been in focus now that it's been somewhat directional, and there's been a lot of good both short-term trade and expectation of movement. That'll coincide quite well with some of the discussion that was made during Tesla's earnings call, where they did relinquish about 75% of their existing Bitcoin holding. So without further ado, let's look at the expected move this week. For now, we were looking at about an $88 expected move for the end of the week. Relatively small, given that we had some big hitter earnings this week. So was kind of unconcerned with where those levels were, and more concerned if we started to breach. Yesterday was a very mild breach. You'll notice that we actually closed outside of expected move. And if we kind of zoom in, there was a little bit of intraday play around this level. The market certainly had that very strong correlated rally. We got outside of expected move, entered very close to our relative gap. You'll notice how precise these levels can be sometimes in regards to setting up trade. And then, of course, the market pulled back in. We traded around the expected move, and then, of course, closed a little bit higher into the afternoon. So for now, I think we're looking at sort of an if-then scenario, which is fairly common for expected move breaches. Oftentimes, when you see the breach like this, you're looking at a risk level in the market. And when you combine that with this gap, the one that the SPX has yet to close, I think there's this potential for the market to actually fade over the next couple of days, more or less to get us back inside the expected move, which is not too far away, and then ultimately to just kind of establish itself as a bit neutral going into next week. That's going to be, of course, our FOMC meeting on Wednesday and any sort of rate hike decision and probability adjustment for next week. I think your edge as a bear here is quite high. And of course, the easiest thing to say as to whether or not this trade would be wrong is if we easily clear yesterday's high. So if we look at some things that could help us with that, obviously we do have a little bit of a trend line breakout. We've cleared our CPI highs, and we're starting to get some just bullish drift into the market. But you'll also notice here, similar gap, and we're starting to try and enter this area and overall have yet to do so. It's an area where if we do break out, I would hesitate to put on any bearish potential trade until we basically finish filling it. So it's a great area to start considering the fade. But if we break above, it basically becomes a failed trade until we get to the other side. And then, of course, we can kind of counter a full gap fill, which is another possible trade idea. Another reason to maybe consider this potential fade is where the NASDAQ sits. We're sitting against a balance range that the market has established previously. It's about a 7-day balance range, so it's fairly heavy in its value potential. But for now, when you're getting into the bottom end of that area, it should be resistant to price. Prices usually don't want to reassess that value immediately on a rally. They usually will come back in and then push to VPOC at a later time. So it's more of a structural sort of wave-like behavior that markets tend to take. And if we pull up something like a 4-hour, we can see that this was one of our higher areas of transactional trade that occurred historically. Let me pull up just a 90-day. So you get this sort of price activity here. There was a VPOC sitting here. That's of course before we broke bearish. We've established some of this gap fill, and a lot of the daily gaps in the NASDAQ have been fully addressed. But overall, this extension could be getting a little far ahead of itself, and the rest of the week could fade back into our more heavy value zones pre-established earlier. So be on the lookout for that. Very easy if then. If the market continues to rally, then overall our daily high has not been set. And if it continues to rally in the SPY, the gap fill would likely be the ultimate target for this rally, you know, basically to finish filling that gap or to do enough of a fill to kind of fade it in the future, you know, essentially risking slightly above. So for those market kind of overall structures, couple things to consider for today. Obviously, one of our main gappers will likely be Tesla. It did have its earnings announcement yesterday afternoon. Pull up a 5-minute here and remove our volume profile. So, you know, overall earnings reaction, I would say is still kind of range bound, but we are outside of an important price level, about 750 for Tesla. Tesla was also expecting about $45 of price movement. And if you're looking at where it closed yesterday at about 742, that means our upside still might have a little bit higher to go, anywhere from 780 all the way up to about 800, which is one of our higher value nodes in the option market for the end of this week. Now, as with most things, we saw a little bit of a fade yesterday on Netflix. The earnings was a gap up open, so it's a bit of a stronger reaction, but you can see that as a day trader, you do have to tolerate a bit of pullback and some back testing. And what this was previous day's close. So Netflix was a bullish stock. It did have a nice uptrend for most of the day, but you had to be able to tolerate the pullback to PDC and reestablish your long if you were a bit early in the pre-market. So some of those notes I think carry over quite well for Tesla. It looks like it's far away. You know, we're at 760 now. 742 would be a $20 drop. However, it's still potentially likely. And some things to maybe consider is this uptrend to be trusted in the pre-market, or is it better to be looking at a possible dip buy in order to set up for a long trade later this afternoon? So for Tesla, you know, your topside target, about 800. You might also want to just look at your technicals here. I know earnings kind of throw some technicals a little bit out the window, but we're not really super gapped in any sort of way. We haven't really broken our main pivot at about 792. What we have done, however, is we've cleared a lot of these top fishing bear pivots approximately around 750. It's one of the reasons I kind of have it marked. It's more or less the level that's been in play for the past month and a half. You'll notice that there is a rejection around 750, and then this up thrust right here, which falls down to our trend line, which wasn't established prior. And pretty much every attempt before has failed. So I think if you're a bear, you probably have been using this level as a relative risk range. And if Tesla can push higher, especially in sort of a slow, grindy sort of way, it can actually entice bearish behavior throughout the session. And if we keep making new highs, that actually provides the fuel for us to get close to 800. So that's more of your bullish look. Your bearish look, I think you would have to get under 750 once again, probably back tested just to confirm that it is going to hold. And that could easily fade Tesla much lower over the next couple of days. Obviously, that setup is going to take longer. The bulls for now have the advantage on Tesla. Shifting from what Tesla discussed, it was discovered that Tesla did relinquish about 75% of its current holdings of Bitcoin. They did sell about 10% of their initial buy, and that was more of a proof of liquidity, allowing them to basically transact from, in this case, Bitcoin back to fiat, and confirm that that was a successful transaction. We're learning that they're liquidating a lot more of their holdings, at least over the last quarter. And while this isn't necessarily the main driver for some of the behavior we've seen in crypto, it gives us a little bit of a peek under the hood that one of our larger whales in the market, and definitely one of the companies in focus for something like Bitcoin, was actually starting to sell, as opposed to accumulate more or even to just hold and not provide any sort of downside pressure. I also wanted to bring up kind of the technicals on Bitcoin. We've been seeing a lot of, return to speculation. A lot of people are excited with this breakout. But keep in mind, just like most ranges, there are targets along the way, and there's definitely going to need to be a lot of backstepping, reproving, and ultimately lining up to continue a bullish move. Otherwise, we can see a lot of failed attempts or just exhaustion in the market, and a return to what is essentially boredom or stagnation. So one of the levels that I was looking at for Bitcoin's breakout is based around its low, which was set at about 17,567, and then the swing high from that low. The swing high that, for the most part, could not break bullish for a period of time. And that swing high was about 21.7. I've kind of left it over here just to confirm my pivots are correct. You'll notice that once these were established, the market did trade sideways throughout these levels, with 21.7 being sort of your technical breakout area. And then, of course, a higher low being established, not necessarily that absolute low at 17.5. That was more of your extreme low, which often just stops the selling pressure at the time. We traded sideways for a while. And then during this breakout, one of the things I was looking for is some technical targets. When you have such a clear range, fib retracements and fib extensions are really one of the better tools out there as a technical trader to understand where to expect resistance when there isn't any price resistance in the way. It's more or less, where do you expect the rally to go before seeing stronger pullbacks, back testing, or even potentially taking some high advantageous counter trend shorts. And for Bitcoin, the level that I had marked was about the 161 extension, which is your fib retracement from low to high, getting outside of this range, or your fib, expansion. Fib, retracement and expansion levels. I always kind of say them incorrectly. But overall, this number was about 24,271. And while it's not always this precise, it's more of an area for the market to consider. I just want you to note how close the high of this swing happens to be to that price. In the world of Bitcoin, we're looking at about a $16 difference between the fib expansion and the swing high that has been currently set. This is our daily high for now, and we're under daily consolidation because we are pulling back. So it's amazing to see these reactions, even in this kind of short-term play. Let's say you trusted the fib levels and maybe set a stop slightly higher. This pullback's about 7% so far. So in short-term trading, this is high advantage levels to play. And one of the things that kind of makes it much more trustable is what we saw in the minor stocks yesterday. So stocks like Mara hitting their gap highs, similar to the S&P. It's very difficult to enter some of these structural gaps on the first attempt, especially when you're extended. You often will see just some sort of pullback, and it's all relative to your trend. So obviously we've had highs, pullbacks, and extensions. These extensions get overbought and oversold, and it just leads you to areas to take profit. If you're long, this is where you should be starting to basically take some off the table. It's also where a counter trend trader might be waiting, looking for the advantage to kind of shift. And then obviously it's, based around whether or not that high holds. So one thing we did in the room yesterday is we shorted Mara. And Mara was not a short looking stock on yesterday's pre-market session. It was actually gapping up. But its location, its extension, and the asset hitting its first fib target led us to believe that as an intraday player, we had a much higher chance of actually being net short. And that actually proved to be one of the better just sort of sell-offs yesterday amidst a net bullish market. The rest of the market wasn't quite bearish like this, but some stocks were. These are your sort of stocks in play, but you have to understand which direction they're going to play against. So congrats to anyone who played this. This is one of my trades from yesterday, and I was short up in the 14 levels for context. Okay, so that's pretty much it for today. I'll go ahead and quickly bring up the Fed tool so we can see what the market is pricing for tomorrow, or sorry, for next week's FOMC. Looks as if right now some of the higher probability around the 100-point rate hike has gone down. This has been something that spiked about a week or two ago. If we look and see, this was reading much higher. It only goes back about a week. I thought it went much higher than that, but it did spike up at one point in time. We did see some kind of reactionary behavior in regards to the most recent CPI readings. It looks as if right now the market's kind of 2/3 on the fence that they're going to do just a 75-point basis hike, and then about a 38%, of course, for a 100-point basis hike. So this meeting is next week. It's on Wednesday, so it's definitely farther out. I just wanted to bring it up if anyone's planning to hedge into this. I think this lower volatility reading that we're currently in the market is a good time to consider hedging, but it's not a short-term trade. You want to basically put this on because you expect some volatility going into the FOMC. I don't know why this trend line keeps moving. And what we've seen right now is that volatility is pretty mild. I don't think bears are going to re-enter this market until we see some spike inside of the VIX. We need to see some behavior that is indicative of a little bit of fear and uncertainty coming back in. And until this happens, the bulls kind of have it. They definitely have the trend. They also have, for now, the fact that they haven't even consolidated this move. So we haven't even really set a daily high yet. Let that be your guide. Price action is king in this market, and I think for the most part, there's been clues that this rally was coming. We had higher lows starting to build, bear flags that weren't providing any follow through, CPI reactions that were not getting sold off. This was kind of up and coming, and our skew has been really low for a long time, which tells you that most of the market is net short. What that can do is if price action starts to test against overall positioning in the market, it can provide short-term rallies, bear market style rallies, ones that are powerful. And obviously as an intraday trader, you want to be on the side of that momentum, but you also want to start planning for the next big move in the market. If you're looking to short, let this rally finish, let it sort of exhaust itself, and then consider getting net short again. You'll have better pricing and you'll have a better risk to reward level to consider, even if the trade doesn't work. But for now, we're fighting bullish momentum, bullish grind. And you'll notice past couple days, bears have been getting run over. They just have not been successful in the market. They had that one reactionary day and it somewhat trapped some bears because people were using this as their risk. And we're starting to clear pivots, possibly fill gaps, and just structurally start to repair what has been in the market for a long time. So with all that said, I'll open up the chat room for any questions. I know it's a little shorter time this Thursday, but y'all have anything you want to look at? Any ideas for trade? Questions? I need to get y'all to load y'all's questions earlier. Y'all are always a little behind. I'm just sitting here waiting for y'all. Any thoughts about the ECB half-point raise? No. Basically, other monetary bodies out there are raising interest rates as well. Some are more aggressive than others. It's the focus right now. The question is, was the half-point raise a surprise or not? Did the market anticipate that or did they not? And I'm not sure if that's a surprise, so I don't have any thoughts about it. How would the Chinese stocks behave in this market? I think dollar strength is kind of keeping them a bit suppressed. They're not necessarily bullish or bearish. I do believe that they've bottomed, but when we look at the technicals, they're trading sideways. They're having trouble getting over highs. And these are massive weekly highs. I mean, these are price levels that were in place ever since the lows. They're somewhat choppy, but they're starting to move directionally outside of a downtrend. This is one way a bull can kind of reclaim, because it's been a multi-month, almost year and a half downtrend. They may need to trade sideways for 6 months, but the concept here is that we're going to be playing high to low for now until we get a full breakout. And that's going to need to occur with some volume to really get us out of this range. For now, we have some testing, we have some failed expansions, but we're moving sideways. Moving averages are starting to cross or just get non-directional, and we're starting to stabilize. That's more important than going net bullish. You don't want to go from a full downtrend to a full uptrend because it can't stabilize itself. It doesn't have enough participants, and that'll often come back in pretty hard. So you actually do want to trade flat. Netflix, after yesterday's option analysis, it did pretty much what we were looking at. There was drop zones back to PDC. I didn't really call out it all the way back to 200, but it was the same analysis. And if you notice how impactful 215 was, there's a lot of intraday play at 215. Someone was either defending 215 option market, and we saw the beginning of the sell-off at 215. If you recall, 215 to 220 was value. We lost value, so we dropped down to at least 210. That would have been a short-term, just like 5-point play. We also didn't have a lot defending us all the way down to 200. So it kind of basically, the option open interest went away all the way down to 200. That's where we ended up sort of stabilizing. More volume came in. And really, this is a very technical chart for the most part. The highs are clear. Pre-market dropped point, and then the highs before we broke out. And the moves are coming from mid-range, like 207.50s in the option market, up to the next levels, 215. So we're trying to get from 210 to 215, but we're bouncing off of 207.50. So So I believe this stock worked pretty well with the open interest evaluation. The thing as an intraday trader is to understand that you're taking $2.50 to $5 risk if the stock stabilizes. So between here and here, this is about $2.50 range. This is consolidation, but it's still bullish. You know, we haven't lost anything, and then we actually broke out. Same idea here. These bounces here are pretty wide. So even as a bear, you're having to kind of play your imbalance in the morning. And the option market gives you a sense of where inflections could occur, where are the high value nodes that are going to become levels of resistance or levels of support, and where is the volume coming in? Are they net bullish or bearish? That's, you know, what yesterday was all about, figuring out the volume. Let's see. Would you be able to explain the expected move in SPY on Monday, please? The slide deck should be available by then. So yes, I'll point you to it. Apple. So Apple has earnings coming up. It just yesterday broke out of its pivot. Was there a lot of volume? Not really. To me, this looks like a high risk bullish scenario, because the disadvantage to a bull is that if we do pull back in, we're probably going to end somewhere about mid-range. We could drift for now because there is an hourly uptrend in Apple, but I don't think the volume that we saw yesterday is indicative of a lot of follow through in the next couple of sessions. That's barring earnings. Earnings is the one thing that can kind of throw a wrench in that, because there is a catalyst that people are speculating into. And let's say Apple does continue going, we're running into the 200 in the next couple of dollars worth of price activity. So I'm bullish for now until I see the rejection. And I think this pivot is the one to pay attention to, the high of the bounce. So Amazon, let's quickly do that one. Similar idea, you know, we're kind of breaking out. We're out of our retracement areas. Watch these pivots. This is your split pivot, and it's coming into earnings, so bullish drift. Kind of keep it simple. The bulls are in an uptrend. The bulls haven't set a daily pivot yet on this rally, so the bears have no level to use except for historical ones. And until that changes, your advantage is either to be a bull on the days where we keep advancing, or to just ignore it when it's consolidating. Because if it's an inside day, that just sets up the next day as a possible bullish or bearish kind of turnaround. So the higher it goes, the more likely we'll consolidate at some point. But for now, the bulls have it. Can you look at Amazon? You just did. Was Tesla's decision to forego 75% of the Bitcoin holdings show a lack of confidence in Bitcoin, or just trying to decouple a car manufacturer from a volatile investment? I don't work for Tesla, so I have no idea. Not Elon Musk. But I think it does bring some removal of confidence from the market. And it's also something that they might have decided to do to stay somewhat cash flow positive in regards to what's been happening with Twitter, and in regards to what the company might have reported. Their earnings weren't that great. They were good, and they were better than maybe expected, but they weren't great. So, you know, different investment models, different possible ways to bring in cash. So with all that said, my name is Jared. This is Engineering the Markets. Thank you all for the questions. Appreciate it. Stay tuned for pre-market prep, and we'll talk more next week. Have a great rest of the trading week, and stay safe out there.
Here we go. Oh, okay. I gotta. Let's give me a second, guys. Good morning over on YouTube. Just gonna get our friends in the chat going as well. I think there we are. Hey, good morning, Norm. How you doing today?
Hey, good morning, brother. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good, man. Are you staying cool out there? All I hear is
It's
how
about to be.
insane it is in Texas.
It's been 109 for 3 days in a row. So,
Ouch.
welcome to Texas. I mean, that's a
Yeah.
pretty normal Texas summer, actually. The last couple of years haven't been too bad. We've had our hot streaks, but I mentioned it. I think I mentioned it on the show the other day. You know, all these people that have moved here from cooler climates, California, New York, anywhere else. I know some people that moved here from Wisconsin. They're probably wondering what in the hell is going on. So this will last, about another month, and then we'll start to maybe cool off 2 or 3 degrees.
2 or 3 degrees.
Yeah, actually,
Which
today
makes a
it's a little
difference,
bit.
right?
It's supposed to be only 100 today, but it's raining. It's going to be humid as hell, so it's going to be pretty miserable. But yeah. How are you? How's it up there?
It's well, we're going through a heat wave now. So yesterday was, I think it hit like 101 here,
Yeah,
and man, it was just
that's nasty
it's
up there, as
brutal.
humid as it is. Yeah, it's
Because
bad.
that's the humidity, right? It's just insane, man, insane. So guys,
Yeah.
stay safe out there, stay cool. That's you're doing your thing wherever you are. So, all right, guys, let's get to it. Today we have a decent gappers list. Well, not decent, but we have an active gappers list. A lot of stuff in the red, as you can see here. A couple of earnings plays that we're seeing, especially in the travel sector, starting when United they reported. So we'll see what's happening there. And obviously the big elephant in the room. We'll talk about that a little bit with Norm there, Tesla. Let's look at the stuff from yesterday on deck. We had a very good watch list, guys. We had Netflix on here. We had Mara, Lee, and Nvidia, AMD, and Apple. Let's quickly look at how those traded yesterday. Let's just go over here to our 5 minute, and we're going to get Netflix first, which was on earnings from the previous day, right? So a little bit of a rough start, and we keep seeing this, right, where you kind of have this indecision chop in many tickers. Netflix was that yesterday. You can see here just a lot of indecision. Finally settles down above some of the moving averages, and it traded very well towards the later parts of the day into the afternoon. So very clean action there. Beautiful breakout from the high of the day. If you're looking and waiting for that strategy, that was very nice. Here was Mara, who had a couple of decent days. I didn't really pay attention yesterday. Let's see here. Yeah, yesterday not bad as well. Here, as you can see on Mara. So that's not bad there. Here's Lee. Lee, guys, had a beautiful pop, beautiful breakout, and again just kind of sold off into some choppiness, and then just went sideways a little bit. Nvidia, AMD, and Apple again continue to impress, guys. That's where you should be paying your attention to. I'm telling you, these three tickers are just incredible. Here's Nvidia again. This 30 minute to an hour just kind of chop, or not really chop, because it does get going here, right? If it might look like chop if you look at the big picture, but if you look at the details, it does get going here, so that's not bad. But look at the breakout we have after that. I mean, that is just incredible on Nvidia, really strong. All tech yesterday seemed to be really strong for the most part. Qs were leading the way here. AMD, same thing. That first hour or so, a little bit of not indecision, but not as clean as what happens next. And you can see here, AMD just takes off nicely as well. And then we have Apple as well, which again, Apple even more choppiness, a little more choppy than the first two we saw here, Nvidia and AMD. But same thing, 10:30 market gets going, Apple as well follows suit. Not the cleanest out of AMD and Nvidia, but still very much tradable here after a beautiful breakout in these tech companies. So again, just a whole lot going on there that traded very well. Norm, let's go over to the market post. What do we have going on for today as we start to end up this week?
Yeah, we just had initial jobless claims and continuing claims come out. Both were a little bit worse than expected. I believe the estimate, I'm not looking at the number, so if I'm off, I'm off. But the estimate on initial claims was 240,000. I believe they came in at 251. I'll note that last week was a little bit worse than expected. I think it was 244, and now we're up to 251. So a little bit of cooling on the job market front. Philly Fed Manufacturing Index came in pretty nasty. That came in at negative 12.3, second negative count in a row. It was estimated to come in at 1.6, so a little bit worse than quite a bit worse than expected there as well. The ECB, as Jared was speaking, it's the European Central Bank, raised their rates for the first time in 11 years by 50 basis points. That caused the SPY to start going upward a little bit. And yeah, let's see how we go. We're in earnings season. We've got all kinds of fun stuff. We've got a memer up here with an over 100% short float on it. So
Yes. I saw that early
brings back fond memories of game stonk.
Yep, absolutely, guys. So let's get to it. Starting here with what's gapping up this morning, what Norm was talking about is this TBLT. And this thing is just on fire here. So it is up 20%, 132 short interest. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. It's insane. I don't know, guys. I'm not sure about this one. This is me. So again, I'm gonna put on my risky pile first. Let me get rid of
somebody's got that in there.
Let me get rid of
that in there,
yeah.
in their scope.
Yeah.
This thing was $3 2 days ago. So
yeah, exactly.
Low float.
That,
be careful.
You can see there $2, $1. I mean, just insane. So this thing up right 19% right now, 5.5 million shares traded, low float 2.1 as Norm mentioned. I mean, it doesn't get riskier than that.
Careful on
you know,
that.
that's not.
It really doesn't.
Yeah.
It's gonna be. It'll be fun to watch. I ain't touching it.
Yeah. That's why I have it here, guys. It'll be fun to watch the price action. It's fun to see things go from 4 to 10. You know, I mean, it's fun to look at that, but just be very, very careful. LVS, this is Las Vegas Sands, not the best trader, but they're up 4% this morning, 148,000 shares traded, breaking out of this range that we're seeing here. Well, broke out already of 37. Right in this area. Let me change this color because that one might be a little more difficult to see.
Yeah, they had earnings last night. They've got an upgrade this morning, at least one, and Macau reopening. So all those things together helping them out.
All right. So we're seeing some nice little pop there. Again, I'll put them as a possible. I know they're not going to get the volume pre-market, but they can trade a little better later. We'll see how it goes. Here is AMC. So AMC this morning up 3.7. Had a good day yesterday. I had it on my secondary list. Didn't really look at it, but had a good day yesterday. Today they're breaking out again, up 3.7, 964,000. They got some really good volume. I think they're definitely in play today. We'll add them to our list here. They seem to got it going on the last couple of days. Is there any news, Norm, besides this meme?
They've been repurchasing some debt, so they're getting some help based on that, amongst other things.
All right, sounds good. So AMC here, guys, on deck, looking nice. PLTR this morning up 3%. Horrible pre-market activity. That's not looking so good right now. That can change. We know that PLTR can trade some good volume. I like their daily, though. They have a nice breakout of 1025 here this morning, so that could be interesting. Might worth taking a look here on PLTR. And Norm, the news on PLTR today?
I'm not seeing anything really, so maybe I missed it. A lot of these names that have been loved a year or so ago and then beaten down, there's people are starting to come in and try to bottom pick a little bit. We'll see if it holds, but that having been said, I'm not seeing anything specific this morning on it.
Yeah.
If somebody has something, let me know.
Yep. All right, let's head down over to Tesla here, guys. So
got
Tesla,
an upgrade. Some El Trader Independiente says on YouTube. Sorry, I'm tired.
Yeah. No worries, man. So PLTR upgrade. Okay, we'll see. Up 3.4. I have it up here. It might not stay there. Once we get to Nvidia, Apple, and AMD, who knows what's gonna happen. We also got some good earnings plays like this one here, Tesla, which is up 3% with some really good volume. Definitely in play today. Hasn't gone too far from this breakout zone that we've been looking at. Again, we've been seeing the higher lows being built here for quite some time. Has had numerous attempts to try to get above this and has not been able to do so. Let's see if today's the day. So Tesla reportings were very good. I guess for outlook, all looks good on that, Norm, on Tesla.
Their margins were less than expected. They've come down a little bit. I've heard some people talking back and forth. it's a little bit of mixed opinions, so we'll just have to see what the market thinks as it plays out today and in the next couple of days.
All right, absolutely. So Tesla, guys, a good one in play for sure. Numbers look good. Pre-market looks good. We're having that on the list. Billy, this morning we are up 2.5. The volume is not great, so I'm gonna keep them off for now. If you guys see this getting better, we know Billy can trade decent at times. It hasn't for me in a while though. I gotta tell you, I haven't watched Billy in a very long time. If it gets better, throw it back out to us. All right, we got a nice gap down list starting with VERV. This is a 25 million shares flow. And this just looks very dangerous right now. I mean, we're down 16.5, 443,000. Not a clean pre-market activity. And the daily, it looks clean, but the volume here is the concerning part of this. I mean, this is just, it's really low volume for the way this thing is moving. And it's a little bit on the lowish side for 25 million. So that's my concern. Yeah. And just to look at yesterday, let's see what it did yesterday here.
They're dropping on news of a secondary.
Yeah.
They've had a huge move recently. So if you look at this, just be very careful. Biotech, they can go crazy.
Yeah. See, look at yesterday. 2.3, almost 3.3 million. And again, it's just be careful. That's not great volume. PGI here this morning. We are looking at. Horrible pre-market action. Yesterday just went off here. Went from $3 to $8. Coming back down a little bit. Usually the second day are not the best. 38 million shares. This was great volume for them yesterday. Not sure how clean this traded, but again, it's just, that is a horrible intraday trading day. I mean, just look at the start of this, the continuation. There's just nothing good besides this little stretch here. There's nothing else here that looks good. I don't see how you trade this. So I'm going to bet that's not going to be a good one today, neither, especially that the second day are usually worse than the first one, unless you have a really good catalyst that's going to carry you over the hump there and get you going. CCL, guys, just continuing with the bad news here. Another offering I heard over the radio this morning. So bigger than before, and now we're down 12% here. So again, taking a massive hit. These guys are in play. We do have shares for sure. 11 million shares traded so far. So let's see what it does. CUK, another share class of CCL, different share class. Usually CCL trades a little bit better. On a day like today, you probably can trade CUK. No, not really. No. I take that back. Look at the details. Still looks bad. United Airlines, also earnings. Was it this morning or last night?
United was last night. American had earnings this morning.
Okay. So United and American both reporting. United here dropping down. They're blaming their progress on just overall costs of operations, fuel and stuff like that. So they're down here 6.5, 433,000. I like United. I'm not sure if today with the other stocks that we have here, we haven't even looked at Nvidia and some of the tech giants. I don't know if it's going to be here today, but let's see. Actually, you know what? I'd rather drop off like a POTR, depending how things go here. So let's see how we go there. NCLA is probably, sympathy move with CCL, but there's no reason to watch it today, guys. I mean, CCL with the volume it's getting, I think that's the one personally. RCL, man, we haven't seen this Royal Caribbean in a while.
And we shouldn't see it now.
And we shouldn't see it now. We should keep moving right on down to Coin, Mara, and Riot. So we have some cryptocurrencies here. What do we have going on? Coin 398 had a big day yesterday. Look at that. Nice big day yesterday for them. Better than Mara, actually, right? They traded, better than Mara. So interesting how they had a really nice day yesterday. Out of all these, they all are gapping down about 4% this morning. So just giving some back from the gains they had in the last couple of days. I'm not sure which is the best one. We'll put them Coin and Mara as possible, and we'll come back to these. We'll come back to these and check them a little bit further. Here's American Airlines and Delta Airlines as well. Both Delta reported last week, I believe, and American Airlines reporting this morning. So we'll keep American Airlines on here. We also have United. We'll fine tune that a little bit later. And then we got two left. We have Oxy, which for the most part, I don't like the way Oxy's been trading. I had it on the list yesterday as a possible, and the day before, I think, as well. And it just hasn't looked good, right? If you look at this action here, it is not great, at least for the way I like to trade. I don't see no patterns forming here. Although you ended
down about 4% this morning. I guess Russia started pumping back through the Nord Stream 1 pipeline. But that might be in jeopardy. So oil was down 5% earlier. I think it's off about 3.5% now.
Yeah, so it hasn't been great. And then SU here, this is an energy company, not a great daily, not a great trader. So we'll skip that. All right, guys, we went through that pretty quickly there. Norm, what do you like this morning?
I've got a couple, but throw it to the room because I know they're going to bring it up, and I don't want to steal their thunder today.
You got it, man. You're being such a good sport. Norm, Mr. Man. All right, Hector, let's start with you there. We're looking at AMD this morning. Yeah, I mean, AMD is definitely on our list here. Oh, look at that, pushing up against 90. We got above 90. Man, look at the run in AMD. 72, 74, nice base at 90 now. That looks real nice. Definitely in play today. Traded very, very clean yesterday. Let's take a look at Michael, Ford and T. Michael, you better be on point today. Let me see here. And actually, you are. You're not bad, not bad. Ford does look good, compared for how it usually does. I was concerned you was giving me something I was going to go no on, but no, not bad on Ford. Getting a breakout here. We've seen this type of action before. 1.3 is pretty good for them this early on. For me personally, I still cannot put them on my list because I have stuff that looks much, much better. But you know what? Just for you, because you're a good guy. We'll put it as possible. Just for Michael there. And then AT&T, do we have earnings on this? This is moving today down pretty good, actually.
They did.
Yeah, all right. So AT&T is looking rather nice. These companies, man, I mean, they let us down before so many times. They do a good pre-market activity, and then they trade horrible at the open. Possible, man. I mean, we how many times you've seen this? Yeah, right. It's just
there's just so many better things to look at today. I agree, in my book.
I agree.
But if that's your bag,
good.
Go for it.
Yeah, it looks good.
It's better. It's better than AT&T looks 364 days a year.
Agree. So if you like telecommunications and you like AT&T, you like to sit in your trade for a long time, all day, this could be a good one today. All right, guys. So Amazon acquisition news. Amazon, who are they? What are they looking to do here? So Amazon this morning, all right, popping up 1.3, 637,000. Yeah, Amazon is good, man. We have plenty. We might have to cut it early here as far as taking more tickers. A lot in play and a lot that looks good, as Norm mentioned here. All right, so 4 we have on deck. That is good. Amazon is good. What about DD? DI from Venuta. No, not today. Not today. It's not my 5 minutes. Not even loading on this. But the daily, no, not today. All right, over on YouTube, our friends. Let's see what we got going on. Snap reports today, I believe, after hours. So we'll be looking at that then. I have plenty on my list that looks good. If Snap hits the scanners, maybe I'll look at it. But tomorrow, I think, or tonight, we'll have the fun with Snap. AMD's
delisted, didn't it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure DD got delisted.
Oh, DD. Okay. I thought you said Snap. Wait a minute, what?
No.
Oh, DD. Yeah, I didn't notice the date down here. Look at this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so look at that.
I was going to say,
Yep. No good. NOK. NOK. Nokia, guys, Nokia just doesn't trade well. It's brutal. Put it on your list and watch it.
They had earnings. They're popping on the earnings. They're not going to move during the day usually.
Yeah. It's not going to be good. All right, guys, we are set. We got a big list. I don't think we got to search too much today. Let's go and let me get our announcements up. We'll do that. We come back. We'll fine tune this a little bit more, but we have a lot we can choose from, which is nice, and a lot that is not moving with the overall market. Some of the stuff is just doing its own thing, which is nice when you have that. Let's go ahead and get our webinars up here. Right over here, guys. If you're looking for our webinars, want to see what's happening throughout the weeks, 2 weeks ahead, go here to webinar, scroll down, you can see everything that's going on.
Absolutely. Go to that webinars page in the nav bar at the top. You'll see that. Just a reminder, every Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern, onboarding and tech with Carlos. Go in there. That's open to all membership categories. Tuesday, next week, 8 p.m. Eastern, we've got Andrew talking about his risk management strategy. Then the following week, how to read price actions or candlestick patterns by Eamon. And that we need to fix that time, 8 p.m. Eastern. it should be 5 p.m. because of Eamon. I will get that taken care of. Psychology. Next week, we've got Randy Howell talking about developing your hidden strengths to transform your trading, and then a Mastermind Pro session from Dr. Kenneth Reed on August 3rd. Don't forget about StockTradingSimulator.com, our free web-based mentorship Thursday. We've got John at 11. Ed will be out of town today, and Thor 8 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget about our free web-based replay simulator at StockTradingSimulator.com. Go check it out when you get a chance. I was looking at some analytics last night at like 8:30 or 9 o'clock my time. So it was like 10 o'clock Eastern time. There was a chunk of people in there using
nice,
using the simulator.
Good for them, man.
So, yeah,
good for them.
Cool. If you're watching on YouTube and have not been in the chat, you can use the promo code PreMarket24 to get a discount. Just go to bearbulltraders.com, scroll down halfway down the page. On the home page, you'll see the membership table. Choose that intro membership, use that discount code. It is 1 week. It does not recur. It is a one-time payment. You have to come back and choose a different membership category if you want to continue on. And speaking of Elite Annual, use the promo code READ50 to get half off of the Elite Annual membership and a free one-on-one coaching session with Dr. Reed.
Thank you very much,
Awesome.
Norm.
Mary Boss saying, I've been in the simulator for about an hour a day this week. Helped so much. It's awesome. Great to hear.
That is amazing.
Yes, and I've seen the simulator plugged on Reddit. A couple of people have pointed that out to me. I do not go down the Reddit rabbit hole very often, but a couple of people have sent me posts showing that people are chatting about it over there, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, nice. It is a great tool. There's nothing else out there like it, so yeah, definitely take advantage. Completely free, guys, for those that have not visited there, so you could use that. All right, guys, great list today. Gappers list on both sides, very, very active. Let me scroll this back up to you so you can see what's on the top of the gap down list. We have, guys, AMC, we have a PLTR, we have Tesla with earnings, we have CCL on here as well, looking very, very active. Another offering there, bigger than the last few that we had. I think it's every 4 months we're doing one. AMD here, real nice pop there. But aside from, not a great pre-market activity though. But what's exciting about AMD is the breakout that we're getting, and the last 2 days, man, this thing has traded so clean. And hopefully that can continue. It reminds me of the stretch we had going back. When was this? This was I think it was around this area here. Yeah, I think it was October, November. Man, it was just insane. The rally that we had here, and just not AMD, a lot of tech companies, every day was clean. It was wild. So that was a lot of fun, and I can't wait to get back to that type of situation. I don't think it'll be like this. I mean, this is wild, this run here. But it'll be fun for sure. So today looking very good. Definitely seeing better pre-market activity, but I like what we're seeing so far the last couple of days. And then we have Amazon here also rallying really nice with a beautiful daily as well. The last 2 months has done pretty nice. Look at the range you're getting. And usually for I believe John 99, you're mentioning Nokia. When you have stocks that don't have a great daily, and we know for a fact that NOK, just look at the daily on this thing. Look at the big difference between like an Amazon and an NOK. Look how choppy this is. And they get volume. Usually when you see a stock like this, that's this choppy, the volume is very light, 12 million shares or less, or 10 or 5. This one does get 30 million, probably because of the price maybe. But man, it just trades horrible. Even this pre-market action right now, if you compare it to, and not just for John, for anybody else that's new joining us here on YouTube or in our membership in the chat room, look at the candles on this thing. I mean, does that look algo-like or what? And these candles, 244,000, they're not small. Another, what is this? Another 190,000 there. I mean, that is not good, not a good sign. And then we got some good possibles here that we were able to gather up. LVS doesn't look great now, but I know they can get better. If you're wondering, why do I have this stock? Because we know they can trade decent. We've seen that at the market open. But today on the list we have, they might be on the lower side of things, so might end up taking them off. Coin, Mara, and our I'm gonna pick one out of these two. American Airlines earnings this morning. We have Ford and we have T as well, AT&T, which again, beautiful pre-market activity. It's just, can they hold that type of action? Fernando, we did look at Snap, and again, they have earnings tonight. Let's go to our trading terminal here, guys. Tradingterminal.com. Take advantage. Great tool. You can come to tradingterminal.com. Head over to our calendar right over. Did I switch it over? Oh, hold on. There we go. Right over here. So right to our calendar over here, and you can take advantage of the earnings. So click on that, and you can see what's coming up. I know next week we have a big week of earnings. We've been talking about that. So next week we got some real big hitters coming in. If you can see that just by the logos, you can tell what kind of week we're going to have. So this will be fun. We have Amazon, we have Apple, we have Intel, which is it could be okay. I know a lot of people like that one. We have Microsoft, Facebook, or Meta, Google, Visa. I mean, just tons of stuff. Starbucks is interesting. It's a hit or miss on Starbucks, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. So looking forward to that, guys. I think it's going to be a great earnings week next week. It has been so far, so hopefully that continues. All right, coming back here to our list, guys. Let's do some levels. Let's do some levels. I want to fine tune this a little bit more first, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got 7 tickers on deck, which is one too many. But you know what? I think no matter what we do here, some of these are going to fall into our secondary list. They'll just have levels and be ready to go there. So for those starting, again, just for anyone new, this list here, the top is my priority list. So that's the first thing I'll be watching. I'll break this down to about 6 tickers only, because that's how many I can watch on my screen over here. And then these will be our possibles in case something something that doesn't look good on our main list. We could bring a possible up to the main list here at the market open. So, or you could just scan through these, right? But these are the ones that look the best that we're going to keep on deck. So primary list, main list, and our secondary list as well. All right, let's start with AMC, guys. Again, big day yesterday. It's been very active over the last couple of days. Today we are looking at high of the pre-market at 18.25, so we'll throw a level there. Right now we're slightly above all the highs and lows of the last 2 trading days. Previous day close, we're just getting a nice breakout of this 1750 area. And if we go back to the left here, we know we talked about this yesterday, right? This range that it has here. So this is kind of like your resistance area. This is kind of like your support. Look at the support hanging out. Oops, let's go back here, hanging out right at the previous day close. That's good. That's been an important level for AMC. And then you have this one right up here as well. So let's see. We're stuck within this range right now. Let's see if there's a breakout that can possibly happen out of this on AMC. So 1892 is the higher side of this range. You just can see the action there, guys, on AMC during this time. Let's see if that is going to have enough strength to break out of that. If we are able to break out of this 1892, the next thing I see, this is where we went insane on in April, March, April. We do have a level here, and again, when the stock does this, I'm more careful with the levels, because again, you're just memeing, and sometimes the technicals, and especially on a stock like AMC, you got to be careful. The technicals might not be all the best on a stock that can do this right here, right? So when you see stuff like this, your technicals, you know, you gotta take them with a grain of salt at times. So all right, so that is AMC, guys. Looking good there. Very active this morning. Very nice pre-market activity. Here is PLTR. We do have a low of the pre-market at 992. This is one that I might end up moving down as a possible. I think it's probably the weakest one on the main list this morning. 992 is the low of the pre-market. The high is looking at 1050. 52, so that's decent there as well. You do have an area right over here that I would like to mark. If you look at these couple of days, you do have a little bit of resistance above the previous day close, and this is happening. If I can get my cursor to right, here we go. It's happening around 10. I'm gonna put 1030. Let's put 1030 on this. Let's call it that. 1030 there. We'll slam a level there just in case. I think that could be interesting. And if you look at the pre-market, you do have a little bit of action around 1030. Nothing major, but there is at least some action happening there, which is nice to see. That means I'm not the only one looking at that. All right, we're set. Towards the bottom, you're set. Towards the top, let's look at the levels here. We have 11 right on there. You can see the action back and forth before we had the actual breakdown. And if we're trying to get into that range right now. So we're trying to break out of this area of support that's right over here and into this range, and hopefully that can happen all the way up to the area of resistance. That'll be a nice move for POTR, but we'll have to see. Right now, man, pre-market action, we got volume, 952,000, but it is not looking pretty as far as this pre-market activity and the action so far. So with that, I'm going to move POTR down, and we're going to delete it off our main list, and then we go right into Tesla. So Tesla, obviously heavily in play this morning, guys. 1.3 million shares traded. I mean, that's the type of volume you want to see on this stock. It's just amazing. It looks very, very good. High of the pre-market over at 772.38. The issue with Tesla is the moves. You know, Tesla can move very aggressive, so you got to be careful, guys, with the number of shares you take. You know, if you're taking if you're risking a certain amount, you might want to even risk half of that, or even a quarter of that, whatever it is. Just be careful, because this thing can move very aggressive. You want to make your money here, guys, on the move, right? Not on the number of shares you take, not on the sizing you're taking. Take a couple of small shares. Manage your risk properly, and then make your money on the great move that it can make. This thing can run pretty aggressive, a couple of bucks, $10 at times, very easily. So, you know, keep that in mind. All right, so levels we have here, we have 792, 892, and 877. Obviously, 877 is a stretch, but this 892, not so much. We've seen dailies be that wide on these candles, so that's not far-fetched action there. Towards the bottom, we do have a highs and lows of the last two trading days, doing a pretty good job, and again, looking very strong. And I would love to see this doing exactly what it's doing right now, guys. Finding a base down here, right? So we hit the high, finding a base down here, and heading towards a 772. That is exactly what you want to see on Tesla, and it's doing just that. So here's CCL. Again, more negative news on CCL. Low of the pre-market, 959. This thing is gapping down 12%. Huge volume. For me, and I don't know if this is true or not, but for me, there is such a thing as too much volume. And I think CCL is there, where it just has too much volume, and we might get some pretty significant chop at the open. That is just my opinion only. There's nothing technical about that, but I just feel like I have seen that so many times, where things get too much volume and they just cannot pick a direction. CCL is setting up that way for me, so be very, very careful on this one. And this is probably a great one to wait, you know, a couple of 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes. You know, we talked about this before. We see this sideways action, and then 1030 hits. 1030 hits, and we start seeing the breakout one way or the other. So just wait a little bit on this one. I think that's going to be the call for me, at least on CCL. Unless, obviously, you see something that's grabbing you by the face, like Andrew will say, and everything is there. You know, it's hitting your tradable criteria exactly as they should be. There's no gray areas. You know, take the trade. Take the trade. So 959, low of the pre-market, 1014, high of the pre-market, 889. You got some levels down here as well. Not the best daily. And obviously 847 towards the bottom here with 811. As you can see, I started doing levels towards the downside, because I'm a little more bearish on this ticker. But we'll see what happens. Towards the top, you got plenty highs and lows of the last two trading days, and actually you don't need to really add anything right now. I'll be surprised if CCL can cover some of this ground that it has lost today. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Here is United Airlines. Right now, not looking great pre-market, a little bit all over the place, but that's okay. They're typically not the best pre-market trading stock. American Airlines it trades a little bit better in the pre-market. We're looking at 38.51. That's the low of the pre-market. 39.41 is the high. Towards the top, plenty of stuff there. You're all set. And then towards the bottom, 37.40, doing a pretty good job there as well. I don't expect a huge move out of this one today. I think this gap down of 6% has covered it well as far as earnings. Let's see if it does anything different. But I think this might be more of a possible swell for me if something looks better in our secondary list, or if our moderators have something that looks a little bit better. You know, have we looked at Nvidia yet? Did we look at Nvidia? I see Mike threw that on his list as well. We'll look at Nvidia next. That one has been really good. Did anyone look at Maribeth threw out Nvidia now, looking great too, but I don't think anyone threw it out earlier, so we'll see. AMD this morning, yeah, we looked at this. This is good. Levels, highs and lows of the last two trading days, all the way down here. I'm going to go to the left here, and I'm going to mark down some levels. This 88 1 is good. Couple of days opening, closing, slamming against that there, so that is nice. Our pre-market low is a little bit higher. We can mark that down too at 88.40, 88.50 actually. So that is good there. Our pre-market high breaking out of 90 here at 90.25, and then above that, guys, we're looking at this level here, 91.92. You can also mark this down here, 90.74. Not a lot of confirmation on these two levels on the higher side of things, but let's see what happens. AMD obviously showing a lot of strength, guys, in the last couple of weeks here, and that seems to want to continue. Here's Amazon, big day yesterday and looking good. This pre-market action, 787,000 right now. 124.50 is your high, and your low is sitting at 121.59. So we'll slam two levels there towards the bottom. You're all set. Do not need to add anything else. And then let's take a look here to the left. We do have last time we broke out of this, right, which we're trying to do now, this area here, we did hit 128.76. So we'll mark that down, and obviously very close to some to this gap down day that we had here, that opening of that day, that at least 128.76 could be very, very interesting. All right, guys, we're set. AMC, Tesla, CCL, United, AMD, and Amazon on deck for me. Secondary list, PLTR, which again looks good on the pop here. We just need, I don't know, we need something to happen here. LVS not doing a whole lot. Coin and Mara, I still can decide which is the best one. Mara might be good. It has been trading well the last couple of days. Mara actually on the intraday. American Airlines not doing a whole lot. Ford, great pre-market action. I just don't know about this one. And AT&T also looking good. I'm just concerned that at the market open, they're just not going to trade as well as this pre-market activity. It usually tends to happen. They get great volume on earnings. So they're gonna see some good volume today. I just don't know if they're gonna have a good clean direction. Taking a look at our chat here, we got a couple of questions. Carlos, what moves do you look for with a stock such as CCL that has moved that much in the pre-market? Let's look at CCL. Yeah, CCL has a big drop already, 12.4. You know, what you want to do here is you're going to have indecision, I think, at the beginning, especially CCL, because just the volume. I think there's going to be a lot of indecision. Now, are we going to continue dropping down here where we just came out of? We just came out of 890 here, 847. So I think it can really go either way. I'm not a fan of CCL at the open. I think I'm going to be more of a fan when it comes down around 30 minutes, 15 minutes later, you know, at least 30 minutes, 15, I think. So, and then we'll have a better idea of what it wants to do. But as far as what I'm going to do with it, if I like it long or short, we just don't know. We just don't know. I just don't know if we're going to get a good opening range 5 minute, which I will be looking for on that ticker right at the bell. I just my opinion on it. You know, maybe we might see a rising devil out of this if it sells off a little more, right? Maybe some coverage, some profit taken. This might be a good one, then come right back down to the low of the pre-market. That would be a good trade for CCL today if it can do that cleanly. So let's see, because it is kind of setting up a little base here, by the way, around 965. So let's see if it can actually do that. So hopefully that answers your questions. I know it doesn't give you much to go on right now because we really got to wait to see how that price action is going to start forming closer to 930. Why isn't CCL on SSR? Pre-market stuff doesn't go on SSR, but it will at the market open. At the bell, then it'll go on SSR. But that's why nothing goes on SSR in pre-market. So you can keep on dropping. Carlos, all opportunities all day. Learn through the thousands of cuts, not to try to force trades into your trade book. Yeah, absolutely. Do not do that. There's so many different opportunity strategies that you can trade. I'm telling you, the hardest thing for a day trader is to find what you're good at. You know, that's the hardest thing. Once you find what you're good at and you can stick to it and be disciplined, I don't want to say trading is easy, but it becomes, you know, a little predictable. You know, you start really seeing the progress in your trading, but you have to find what you're good at. You know, if you're forcing the same strategy over and over and over again, it's just, you know, it's just madness. I had this one person I was mentoring once, and they wanted to trade a certain way, more like Andrew style, but they were really good at this other strategy, right? But they didn't like that strategy, but they were really good at it. They were making money on this strategy, and I kept telling them, dude, just keep doing what you're making money on. I know you want to hold longer, you want to do this, you want to do that, but if you're doing this, you're you're doing what's making money and it's working and you're doing it consistently, well, keep doing that, right? So so he's doing very, very well now. Let's take a look here, guys. What do we have towards the bottom? Nice gap to fill. Decides on break on AMD. Yep. Let's see if it can break. It's gonna need a lot though. That's a little bit far out, but it's gonna need a lot to get going. And AMD has such a great run. Unless a spike can help it, we might be due for a slight pullback here. We'll have to see. And the SPY is dropping here a little bit. How are the Qs doing? Let's take a look at the Qs. Very, very good. Dustin, I did check Delta. I do have, I don't want to have all airlines, right? So I have United, which reported, I believe, yesterday. American Airlines reported today. So both of these kind of have the catalyst. I expect Delta, who reported last week, to kind of trade within what United and American Airlines is going to do. So that's why I don't have them on my list today. They're gapping down as well, and they're obviously gapping down with United. These are three of the big airlines: United, American Airlines, and Delta. You're just missing Southwest here at the top four. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. What do you think of Nvidia's daily? Oh, we forgot to look at Nvidia, and then once we're done with Nvidia, we'll go to our moderators lineup. And how many likes do we have? I don't know how many likes we have, but if we are 400, thank you. If we're not, we'll love for you guys to get us there. If you could hit that thumbs up. Why is my screen doing some weird stuff? There we go. If you can get us to 400, we'll really appreciate it very, very much. I don't have the screen up with the likes today. So Nvidia, let's look at Nvidia, then moderators lineup, and we will call it a day. Today, guys, closing bell at 3:30 as we get ready to close out the week, so don't miss that. I'll see you guys in chat there as well. Here's Nvidia. Man, how can we not have Nvidia on the list, guys? We got to put Nvidia on the list. I know it's one too many, but that's okay. Nvidia's got to come up here. It looks really good. And aside from it looking really good, I mean, the volume is there, 781, which is more than usual. I mean, it's just been trading so well. I know we keep having kind of like the same tickers over and over again, you know, but that happens sometimes. We get these tickers that are always just trading so good. They go on a nice stretch, and we just keep taking advantage of that, right? Well, why change what's working? Here's Nvidia. High of the pre-market, 180.25, 175.94 towards the bottom. Highs and lows of the last two trading days here, doing an amazing job. Again, very similar to AMD. The run the tech has had here has been incredible, and it's because they've been beat up quite a bit. What I like about Nvidia this morning too, if you look at this level here, we're hitting in a very critical area of a lot of resistance for Nvidia in the past. Good support as well. Can we get above this and hang out here for some time, right? Like we did before in May and June. That would be fun. Let's see if that can take place there. I'm going to do another level. This is a good one here actually too. 185. Nice area of support here, more support and resistance across the board as we consolidated there. And then we got a couple of wicks right over here, which I'm going to slam a level on 192. Might be 193 or so, but that's going to be good there as well. All right, excellent, guys. So let's take a look at our moderators lineup, and then we'll call this a day. Let me resize this. As I'm doing this, guys, if you haven't done so already, we're sitting at 235 likes. Actually, it's not 400 anymore. 300 is our goal, so we're not far from that. If you can help us do that, we'll really appreciate it. That helps the channel out a whole lot. So thank you for that. All right, let's bring our moderators list over here. This is what we have. We're going to go ahead and start with Jared. Jared's looking at AMD, Tesla, and Amazon. Secondary list, gold ETF. Got a couple listed there, and they're hitting some support areas as well. Mike is looking at Nvidia, Tesla, and Amazon. All three looking really nice this morning. Tesla with earnings, of course. IPO for today. We haven't seen one in a while. VRAX. Yeah, you finally have one. Don't get too excited, Peter. Let's see if they actually open. Let's see if they actually open up. Because sometimes, you know, these things get pushed back quite a bit. DEMA watch list today is American Airlines, Amazon, AMD, and Apple. And then Peter's AMD, Apple, and CCL. Secondary list, Tesla, United, and Amazon. Megan looking at the Qs and Roku. Thor, he's looking at Q, SPY, Ford, Tesla, and AMD today. So, guys, that is our list. We'll wait for Brian to throw his list out and get on the mic, and then we'll be good to go here, guys. I think we'll be all set. Thank you guys for joining us over on YouTube. As usual, we appreciate it very much. You guys hanging out with us every morning. Thoughts on NEO? If it's not too late, it's never too late, right? Let's get thoughts on NEO quickly here for you. It's got volume. I like the daily, man. I really like the daily on Neo right here for this the possible breakdown. It has to be able to do that holding. This could be fun. Yeah, it's good. It's nice pre-market action. 1.1 million shares traded. It's bouncing back from the lows of 1985 here. Pretty much flat right now. It's just a little bit less than 1%. It could be interesting, man. I just have so much on my list that's looking slightly better, but not by much. If you like this one, I think you can put this on the list. I think it has a lot of volume, a lot of movement in the pre-market that can go in there. All right, here's Brian and his list, and then we'll hand it off to him. It's for Tesla, AMD, United, and Neo on Brian's list this morning. So, guys, thank you so much. Trade safe over on YouTube and our members as well. Remember, 3:30, closing bell with Artie and Andrew. I'll see you guys there. Have an amazing day and trade safe, everyone.